Assalamu alaikum dear students, and welcome to the 32nd session of the KIPS Distance Learning Program Current Affairs Newspaper Roundup session. Today we are going to look at a case study of the Indian spy Kulbhushan Jadhav, and we are going to see what is the timeline of everything that has happened regarding that case and what kind of actions have Pakistan and India taken on their behalf. I am Shahrukh Haider, and today we are going to look at an important international relations, international law, current affairs and Pakistan affairs question regarding the fate of Kulbhushan Jadhav. So first of all, in 2016, Kulbhushan Jadhav was arrested at the Pakistan-Iran border while he was attempting to cross into Iran. He was arrested by the Pakistani military and border control forces, border security forces, and he confessed to a number of things. For example, he confessed to being a raw agent. He confessed to facilitating terrorist attacks in Balochistan and Sindh and fomenting terror and instability inside Balochistan. He confessed to supporting the Balochistan Liberation Army in their campaign against Pakistan. He also confessed trying to sabotage and undermine the China-Pakistan economic corridor. So when all of these confessions were made by him, he was presented in front of a military court in Pakistan. Now, the military court were created after the 21st Amendment to the Pakistani Constitution, which was basically a parallel judicial system to the existing judicial system of Pakistan, and it was meant to basically try terrorists and hardcore militants who otherwise are difficult to try in regular judicial forums. So that court, after that trial, handed down the verdict of death sentence to Kulbhushan Jadhav after finding him guilty of all those crimes against Pakistan. Now, India immediately denied all of the things that Kulbhushan Jadhav said and demanded Pakistan to hand back Kulbhushan Jadhav, because according to Indian narrative was that Kulbhushan Jadhav was actually a retired officer of the Indian Navy and he had no links with the RAW and was living a civilian life after retirement. So when Pakistan refused to do that and presenting overwhelming evidence to the contrary, India took Pakistan to the International Court of Justice in 2017. It took 2 years for the International Court of Justice to come to a decision. Now let's look at the side and the arguments of both appellants in this case. So Indian case was that Kulbhushan Jadhav is not a spy and his death sentence is illegal and should be reversed, and Pakistan should provide full consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav and in due time release him so that he can return to his family, to his mother. Pakistan's case was that there is overwhelming evidence and the personal confession of Kulbhushan Jadhav that he was a raw spy working against Pakistan in order to sabotage Pakistan's strategic interests and national security. Pakistan military court and Pakistan's death sentence awarded to Kulbhushan Jadhav was legal because it was under Pakistan's constitutional law. What was the International Court of Justice decision that was released in 2017? So the International Court of Justice said that there was overwhelming evidence and therefore it concluded that Kulbhushan Jadhav is actually a raw agent. Secondly, after showing confidence in Pakistan's military court, it said that even though it is the discretion of the military court of Pakistan which tried Kulbhushan Jadhav in the first place to hand down whatever verdict it seems appropriate, even so, that verdict of death sentence should be reviewed. And secondly, Pakistan should immediately provide consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav, since Pakistan is a signatory of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, which is why Pakistan is bound to provide consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Now, both of the countries hail this as a historic victory in their own countries, but in reality, if you look at the nitty-gritties of the case, there is greater success for Pakistan in this rather than for India. Immediately following the verdict on July 17, 2019, Pakistan complied with it and gave full consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav, after which, you might remember, Kulbhushan Jadhav's mother and his wife came to visit him in Pakistan through the Indian Embassy, Consulate General in Pakistan. Moreover, Pakistan was completely open to the idea of basically having a sort of review of the decision that was taken by the military court of awarding him death sentence. But that would only have been done if Kulbhushan Jadhav himself had moved for a review petition in Pakistan military court, but he refused to do so. Which is why only yesterday, basically, Pakistan requested India, or told India to move to Islamabad High Court in order to move a petition for review and reconsideration in the case of death sentence awarded to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Now, this case may seem a solitary case and not that important for your interest as a CSS aspirant. But if we look at the greater agenda that was behind the Kulbhushan Jadhav network, its relations and his activities in Pakistan, we get to discover an important agenda behind what India is doing in Pakistan. So in 2004, India launched its Cold Start doctrine against Pakistan, which was an all-encompassing hybrid war against Pakistan using fifth generation warfare tools, which meant that India wanted to destabilize Pakistan from within through multiple means. So it resorted to making Pakistan's not only eastern border but also western border with Iran and Afghanistan unstable by creating insurgencies, by supporting the Balochistan Liberation Army, by creating terrorist elements and fundamentalist elements within Pakistan. For example, the urban terrorism that we saw in the case of Karachi over the years, it got worse and worse, and much of that was because of Indian funding, Indian agenda, and Indian involvement in Pakistan's internal security. Moreover, the Cold Start doctrine also envisioned making Pakistan economically weak by first destabilizing Pakistan's western border, so a significant chunk of Pakistan's military might move to secure the western border, and that would reduce Pakistan military's strength on the eastern border with India, and then India would launch a massive line of control violation regime and try to destabilize Pakistan's eastern border further. That would put a lot of strain on Pakistan's army and sort of create a national security threat for Pakistan, which is why Pakistan would be forced to increase its defense spending, which we have actually seen in the last 5 to 10 years, and in return, increasing burden would be put on Pakistan's economic conditions and finances, and therefore Pakistan would be weakened economically. If we try to analyze whether India was successful in that, I believe India was really successful in that, because our defense budget has been ballooning for the last 10 years at a dramatic pace. And one rationality that the army basically justifies all of that defense spending on is that India is constantly threatening Pakistan's national security and increasingly doing so, which is why we need more money to retaliate. So in that respect, I think Indian foreign policy has been successful. Moreover, Pakistan in recent times has been more, and its foreign policy has been more conducive to securing Pakistan's regional and Pakistan's internal interests than it has been in the past. So now Pakistan realizes that India's Cold Start doctrine was coming to fruition, which is why Pakistan became very serious about resolving the Afghan conflict and bringing a sustainable solution in Afghanistan, so that Indian footprint in Afghanistan can be halted, because India had already announced the building of 10 dams on the Kabul River, with the Shatut Dam being $1.2 billion project, which could dramatically reduce water flows from the Kabul River into Pakistan and thus further create water insecurity in Pakistan, which is just another manifestation of India's water terrorism against Pakistan. But in recent times, Pakistan has played a successful foreign policy and has changed Pakistan's dynamic towards India, which was most successfully seen in the counter operation that Pakistan conducted after the Balakot attack by India in the aftermath of the Pulwama attack. So going forward, perhaps as the world looks negatively upon India, world is increasingly looking positively upon Pakistan as a responsible state and viewing India as the aggressive state in the historic and classical security complex in South Asia. Thank you very much for your attention. Take care. Allah Hafiz.